guys, it's Jen with Sew It Online, and I'm here to show you one of the coolest embroidery machines that we carry. It is the Brother NQ1600E. Now this is a fantastic machine if you've already got a good sewing machine, because this doesn't sew at all. It's just an embroidery machine. But what's cool about it is you're going to get the most for your money when it comes to embroidery features. Now when you're buying an embroidery machine, I always tell people, buy the biggest hoop you can afford, because you're going to want to do more with it. And there's a true thing out there. It's a symptom called hoop envy. And if you buy a machine with a teeny tiny hoop, you're going to go to do a project and say, oh man, I wish I had a bigger hoop so I could do that. So buy the biggest hoop that you can afford, and you won't end up like those people. All right, so this machine here, the 1600E, it has a 6 by 10 inch hoop, which is a fairly decent size. I'm going to lower this so you can see. It actually will go all the way across the back of a jacket. You could go down the front of your jacket or down a whole pair of jeans. So it's a really nice size hoop. One thing that some of our customers are doing is they're quilting in the hoop, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that. But they're actually piecing their quilts, and then they can actually hoop the quilt. It'll do the stippling, then they rehoop it, rehoop it, rehoop it, and it ends up looking like it was quilted on a long arm. But the cool thing is you did it on your embroidery machine at home. That means you did the quilt from start to finish. So let me show you really quick how this works. One thing I love about this Brother machine is it's very, very easy to use. You know, after I've been working all day and I go home and want to sew, I don't want to have to sit there and fuss with computers and try to figure things out. So that's where this really becomes easy to use. You know, a lot of our customers are not computer savvy, and they don't want to mess around with computerized electronic things. So this one makes it a whole lot easier. They do have a very intuitive screen. So this is our home screen here, and you can see I've got some different options. There's built-in designs in these two tabs. If I click on there, you can actually scroll through, and if I select a design, it becomes a little bit bigger over here. I'm gonna, go back. And there's more designs in this category. I can even do buttonholes in the hoop. These are even decorative designs that go around the buttonholes. So if you want like a jacket that has, 3 or 4 buttonholes, you can lay them all out in the hoop, put your jacket on there, and it'll do them perfect every single time. Much easier than doing them on your sewing machine the old way. There's also lettering. Lettering, I always say that's pretty important. When you're buying an embroidery machine, make sure you have good fonts, because fonts are something that you're going to use all over and over again. You know, if you're a quilter, you can make quilt labels for the back of your quilt. Or you could see on this one, we actually embroidered some words that just kind of went along with the quilt. So having built-in fonts is very important, because yes, you can buy fonts online, but it's a little bit different. You're not buying a keyboard font. You're buying individual letters that you have to bring in. So there's a little bit of difference there. This one also has shapes or frames built in. So there's 10 different shapes, and when I select a shape, it's going to ask what stitch. So if I scroll through, you see that there's 14 different stitch options. So let's see, 10 shapes, 14 stitches, that's 140 different shape combinations. So those are borders for either around your quilt labels or maybe around monograms. Now if that's not enough designs for you, don't worry. It does have a USB port on the side over here, so you can download all kinds of fonts, all kinds of designs. Just put them on a USB stick, plug it in, and you're ready to go. Again, this is a 6 by 10 inch hoop, so that's your maximum embroidery size, and there's tons of projects out there that you can do on this machine. So first let's start with doing one of these shapes here. I'm going to pick stitch 6 so that you can see how a 2-color design works, because this is a single needle machine. So that means it can stitch 1 color at a time. I'm going to lower that just so you can see. So I'm going to hit set, and you can see there's my heart in my embroidery field, and I have some different options over here. Very simple. If I want to move it, I'm going to hit the move button. If I want to resize it, I'll hit the size button. If I want to rotate, I'm going to hit rotate. So here I'm going to resize this, make it a little bit bigger, and then I'll hit OK. Now I want to put a name inside. So let's go ahead and hit add, and I'm going to go to my fonts, and let's pick a pretty font here. I'm going to do this one for my mom, and her name is Carrie. She spells it a little differently, and that's where this is really cool, because I have a lot of people in my life that spell their name not the typical spelling, or maybe their name isn't just a common name. So when people find out you have an embroidery machine, trust me, they're going to ask you to put their name on everything they own. All right, so I first typed in the first letter of her first name, K, and I'm going to select medium size. So first letter, then you tell it what size, and then the rest of them will be that size. Now I'm going to scroll over to do lowercase, E-R-R-Y. And look, I even have punctuation over here, so I can get an apostrophe, which is way over here. And I want to do Carrie's kitchen, so she can hang this up in her kitchen. Little secret though, she doesn't cook, so it'll just be for show. Then we have this little return button. So this is going to drop us down to the next line of text. So when I hit that, you see how my number up here changed to 2. This is telling me this is the second line of text. Now I can go over and find the K again for kitchen. And you see how it's already on medium? I don't even have to tell it. It kind of keeps that consistency once you've chosen it to begin with. Then I'll scroll over, I-T. The one thing that you will have to keep in mind is that it doesn't have spell check, so double check your spelling. Ask me how I know that. All right, Carrie's kitchen. Hit set, and there it is on the screen. And there are 2 lines of text. You can move them individually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Carrie's and go to hit the size button, and I'm going to make it bigger. Now you see how nice these pictures are? Pretty easy to figure out what's what. The arrows are pointing out, it's going to make it bigger. If they're pointing in, it's going to make it smaller. You can stretch it, you can make it fatter, you can make it skinnier. So you have lots of different options here. I'm going to make this one a little bigger because her name is more important. And then I'm going to go into font edit, and I'm going to go to array, and I'll put it on an arc. Now you can adjust the arc, make it tighter, make it looser. Do a lot of different things with it. I'm going to move that down. I hit the select button so I can move the kitchen, and I want to make kitchen a little bit smaller. And I like to play around with my fonts, so I'm going to go into the font edit button, and I'm going to change the font of kitchen. I'm not happy if there's only one font. I need more than one font. So we're going to go to see which one we like better. I think this one is going to be okay. So now let's size that. Make it a little bit taller so it fits the space a little bit more. I think that looks okay. What do you think? I think we're good to go. All right, so now I'm going to hit edit end, and what it does is it groups everything together. So now my arrow button is going to move it together, and I want this at the bottom of my towel. That's why I'm moving it all the way down here. Otherwise it's going to stitch in the middle of the towel. How would I hang it? So make sure you do that first. Then there's this wonderful button right here. It's called trace. I always say there's people that trace and people that wish they had. What this is going to do, it's going to outline where it's going to stitch. So this is what you want to do before you stitch, so you can double check that it's going where you want it to go, and that way you won't have to rip it out, because we don't want to do that. That looks good. Now it's time to thread the machine. This is really cool. So you're going to want to watch here. Again, I told you these machines are very easy to use. They even put the threading right on the machine for you, so you don't even have to get out the book. So I'm going to follow the steps. We're following the solid line here when we're threading the machine. The dotted line is for when we wind the bobbin. I'm not doing that. That bobbin's already wound, so we're going to go right here. So 1 is underneath there. I will tell you, use 2 hands when you thread a machine. You want to get it in that tension disc. 3 is under, 4 is over, 5 is straight down. 6 is behind this little guide under here. I don't know if you could see that. And then 7, we're going to catch it in here. There's a picture right here on the front of the machine. And then we cut it on the side. And now watch the needle. I'm going to push down on that, and boom, we're threaded. Now we're ready to go. So if I lower the presser foot, after I go to embroidery here, I'm going to lower the presser foot. You see my light turns green. So I can hit start. And on my screen here, you'll see that it's showing me it's going to stitch the black part of the heart first. So we're going to let that stitch out, and then it'll stop, and I'll change to my second color. She loves purples and pinks, so I'm going to use this for the name and for the little berries that are in the heart. But this is a very easy machine to use. We've got all kinds of videos on our website on how to do this. So you're going to want to make sure that you subscribe to our Sew It Online videos. We do training videos, we do instruction videos, and we do all kinds of fun projects to keep you guys sewing. This machine, like I said, it is on sale. Normally it goes for $26.99.99. It's on sale right now for $14.99.99. So that's a steal. That's going to get you the biggest hoop for your money when you're buying an embroidery machine. So if you want to buy one, I would go to our website right now, learn more about it, or give us a call. We can help you. If you're looking for something more, you have questions, we have all kinds of knowledge in our stores. All right, so what's going on here is I have my towel is hooped. Underneath it, I have what's called stabilizer. There's just a tearaway stabilizer, and I'll show you that when this is all done. What that does is it keeps my towel from puckering while it's doing the satin stitch. And then this piece on top is what they call a wash away stabilizer. What that's going to do is prevent my towel from poking through the stitches. You know, when you have a high pile fabric like terry cloth, it's going to want to poke through those stitches. So that just kind of keeps it down out of the way. It is a wash away, so when we're done, this is all going to be gone. You're not going to see any of it, so don't worry about that. But we even have videos on our website about stabilizer, because unfortunately there's no one-size-fits-all stabilizer. It really depends on what fabric you're sewing on, how dense your design is, and even how many stitches are in the design. Those are the kind of key ingredients when it comes to choosing the right stabilizer. Stabilizer is almost like baking. If you don't get that recipe right, you're not going to have good results. It's going to taste dry and it's going to taste yucky. Same thing with embroidery. If you don't use the right stabilizer, you're going to have a hot mess. So we're here to help you with that. And any questions that you have. You know, embroidery can be really fun. We're even doing projects that have zippers in them. So zippered bags in the hoop. It's all done perfectly in the hoop. So remember those old days of putting zippers in on your sewing machine? Or maybe you didn't because it was just too hard. Now you don't have to worry about it. Now you plug the stick in and it tells you exactly what to do. It tells you where to lay the zipper, you lay it down and it'll stitch it. Then you flip the fabric and you're all done. It's really awesome. All right, so this is almost done with color number 1. So I'll show you how this happens. So it's gonna stop sewing in a second. And you see that's knotting the thread right now. You heard it cut. So it even cuts the thread for me, and then it just stops. And on my screen it shows me, okay, it's time for you to change color. So I'm going to lift my lid, pull out my thread, and put in my next one. So again, you get really used to this. You can thread the machine pretty quickly, and it's not too difficult. And then we're going to lower the presser foot, whoops, it's on the front, and just hit start. Now this particular machine will cut my jump stitches, and you'll see that happen here in a second. So it's going to sew the little berry. It's knotting right now, and then you hear it cutting, and then that moves out of the way to get that tail moved, and then it's going to keep on going. So that's important. Not all machines can do that. So if you go a step down to the lower end machine, it's not going to cut your jump stitches. You're going to then have to cut them when it's all done. So, which isn't a big deal. I mean, you could sit on the couch and do that, but I'd much rather get the machine to do as much as it possibly can so I don't have to do the work, if you know what I mean. But this is a great way to make gifts. You know, I like to make gifts for people. These towels cost maybe $1 or $2 when you go to, you know, your discount stores. I like to stock up on them anytime I see them. If you find baby blankets, you know, you can find a really good quality baby blanket for about $8 to $12 in some of the stores. I buy the nice ones. And then when my friends have babies, you know, they're always posting the name and the birth weight and all that on the internet. They put it on Facebook, they put it on Instagram. So I just grab that information and I can embroider it on the blanket, and I can take it right up to them at the hospital. It's really an awesome gift, and you know it's something that they're going to have forever. And it really doesn't cost you that much, but the fact that you made it and it's personalized is what really counts. You know, that's what's important. So that's where I use my embroidery machine. It's not really, I don't use it as a business. I use it more as just making gifts and just having fun. It's something I can do with my daughter. It's something that I hope I can do with my grandkids when I have them. And I hope that you guys can enjoy it too. It's a lot of fun. All right, so this is just almost about done. All right, so it's done with the outline, and now we're gonna stitch. You can see it says Carrie's. I'm gonna just go ahead and stitch those in purple since that's her favorite color. So I'm gonna lower that and hit start. A couple things I wanted to mention too on the screen here, if you look, it tells you exactly how long it's gonna take to stitch this design out. So the total design is gonna take 10 minutes, and it's showing me that there's 4 color changes over here. So right now we're on color 3 of 4, and we only have about 4 minutes left. So it's pretty cool. I mean, know that you can make gifts for people. Your embroidery machine could make yourself a little bit of money. You know, you could charge anytime your friend asks to put their name on something, charge them for it. Charge them $5, charge them $7, you know, make the machine pay for itself. That's the beauty of these things. It can be a really rewarding thing to do in your free time. And the nice thing about it is, look at how hard I'm working. You know, I could be over here like washing my dishes, I could be folding the laundry. So if you're like me and you like to multitask, this is one way to be able to create something really cool for your friends and family while also still getting your housework done. Or you don't have to get your housework done, that's okay, I'm not gonna tell anybody. Just tell your husband you have to sit here and watch it. But either way you go, embroidery can be really fun. One thing that I really like to do, I don't have a lot of time to sew my projects from start to finish. Like I would love to make jackets and garments and clothing, but I'm a single mom. I work 40 hours a week. I just don't have time in the day to do that. So I'm a discount shopper. I like to go out and buy jackets and things for like 20 bucks. I'll even go to the thrift store and buy them for $5 or $6. But then you can embellish those and you can make them unique, you know, just by putting embroidery and embellishments on them. So that's something else that you can do with an embroidery machine. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of different things that you can do for your friends and family, or even for yourself, because you totally deserve it. You know, sometimes it's not bad to make things for yourself once in a while. You know, just keep that in mind. Of course we buy these to make gifts, but you're important too, and you deserve a little bit of fun in your life. All right, so this one's almost done, and we're going to show you what that looks like. And if the machine is on sale, it's normally $24.99, and I believe it's on sale right now for $14.99.99. So if you want one, just go ahead, go over to our website, sewitonline.com, and you can purchase yours today, and we'll ship it right to your house. Make sure you ask about the stabilizer packages and the thread packages, because those are 2 things that you're going to need to get started, so that when you get this machine home, you'll be able to play around with it. You know, stabilizer and thread are a little bit different. This isn't regular sewing thread, this is embroidery thread, so it's not the stuff that you're using on your sewing machine. It's a little bit more pricey than your regular sewing thread too, so you don't want to use this for every project. Just use it for embroidery. It's really pretty. But you can have a lot of fun with it. There's all kinds of fun threads out there too. All right, now you'll see some of these jump stitches, they don't cut just because they're too small. You can go ahead and clip those when you're done. Sometimes between the letters they don't cut because it does have a size limitation on how long that jump stitch can be, but it's not a big deal. Also, one thing I didn't show you is, you see that I obviously didn't stitch this in black and red like it shows on the screen. I have people all the time say, well, I don't have black thread, or I don't have this color. Your machine has no idea what color thread you're putting in there. Trust me, it's a smart machine, but it's not that smart. But if you are the type of person that needs to see that color combination, you can change the colors on the screen. So you could test out, say, what's it gonna look like in pink? What will it look like in purple? You know, and you can kind of play around with that to see if it's gonna look on the fabric how it looks in your mind, if that makes sense. I've been doing this long enough that I don't have to do that. I know what I like, and I know what she likes. All right, so we're almost done, 2 minutes left. And see, and here I am standing here watching this stitch out. Normally I'd be off doing something else, and then I come back and boom, I have a project that I made. It's pretty fun. But embroidery is something that can be enjoyed for a long, long time. So make sure that you're doing it on good quality fabrics, you know, towels. Make sure you're spending money on good quality thread too. What I'm using is a polyester thread. You want to make sure you use something that's not going to fade. There's a lot of different threads out there, a lot of different qualities. You're buying a good quality machine, so make sure you buy good quality thread to go along with that machine. These are all things that we'll teach you in our sewing classes. We have a sewing from A to Z class on our website, and also an embroidery class that's going to teach you from the basics on up on how to get the best results as far as stabilizer, how to reduce puckering, even like how to embroider on t-shirts, how to embroider on knit fabrics, how to embroider on denim. And if you want to get into a little bit of digitizing, we'll have classes on that. So there's a whole world of embroidery that's brand new to you, and we've got you covered. We've got projects out there to keep you inspired and hopefully keep you sewing. All right, we're all done. It says finished embroidering now right here, so I'm going to hit OK. And this is really great too, the way this hoop goes in and out. You just lift the lever and slide it straight out. Now I can pop my hoop apart. I'll lay this over here. And I'm just going to tear this away, hence the reason they call it tear away. And again, this is just protecting the fabric, keeping it from puckering while it's stitching. And I'm going to fold this all nice and pretty. And then I can tear off. This is a water-soluble stabilizer, like I mentioned before. It's just protecting or preventing the terry cloth from poking through your stitches. I'm going to tear most of it away, but some might still be like inside the little E. It goes away when you wash it. Now it does have a couple little tails here that I need to trim. Just go ahead and trim those up. This is a great thing to do when you're sitting late at night watching TV. Just trim those little hairs off. And when you're all nice and done, you've got a nice little gift. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it showed you what exactly you could do with an embroidery machine. I mean, there's a whole world out there. Check out some of our other videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and keep coming and watching and see what you could do, because we're here to inspire you and to keep you guys sewing. So I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.